Okay, I got these hoops on for my bays out there.
What up, guys?
Hi, guys.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. And if you're new today, make sure you like,
comment,
subscribe, stay notified. Gang, gang, gang. Love you guys. We appreciate you for all your likes,
comments,
shares,
all of that,
and all the love that you guys give us. And we always reply back to all the positive comments.
Always.
But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the untold truth, the hidden truth.
About saving yourself for marriage.
Behind saving yourself for marriage. So I was her first.
Okay, this is TMI.
TMI.
TMI. We just gotta say, wait, TMI, you doing too much? No. Obviously, if he's my husband, I just told you I was celibate my whole life.
I was celibate for 6 years. I got married at 23 to the love of my life. And she's been celibate.
Me? Me, the love of so cute. Thank you.
For me, a lot of my friends really thought that I was basically gay, you know?
Yeah.
Basically because, like, all the girls, I'm not trying to, like, beef up my head or whatnot, but all the girls...
You should beef up your head, babe. Look at your wife. Like, beef up your head. Beef up that beef.
Beef up that
Mom, we're never gonna finish doing this.
Yo, for real though. But yeah, so basically they all thought I was, you know, a little all that stuff, you know, gay.
He was in the closet or something.
But not that is, I mean, anyways, I'm not even gonna go into that topic. But the reason why they thought that was because like all of the girls that was trying to talk to me was either became real close friends to me, or I rejected all of them. And they were all pretty, like the girl that's in high school that everybody's trying to get with. And I was that guy that's like, okay, cool. So that's like my best friend, that's my bestie, that's my best friend and all that stuff. And the main reason behind that was because I wanted to give myself to my future wife. That's one. Second is I come from a very religious family, so that's like a no-no. And third, my fear of God. That's really what stopped me and basically made me want to wait for my wife.
Even though you ain't wait, you had a little bumps in the road, but nah, we're cutting that out. We're cutting that out, Mom. We're cutting that out.
Okay, just go.
Okay. For me, I like I said, I was 17 when I got married. So it's like usually in America, girls tend to lose their V card around that time. But around me, there were girls that was losing it in middle school. They was just doing a whole bunch of things they weren't supposed to do. And I wasn't raised like that. I have really high morals for myself since before. And maybe now they're even higher because, you know, even though I'm already married, that doesn't mean I'm like, oh yeah, you can just treat me anyway, husband. No. Yeah, I had really high morals. I knew that I wasn't gonna, I didn't even like, I was that girl that had little, you know, everyone has little petty boyfriends, but I would never like give them my heart. I was never vulnerable to none of these little, if you think I was vulnerable to you, you got played. Sorry, boo, but you got played, and I wasn't gonna allow myself to do something that I would regret, like really, really, really regret, because I'm one of those people that regret things like a lot. My self-conscious be haunting me, so I wasn't gonna let myself stoop low. Not that it's low to do that, you know, sometimes things happen, you know, everyone's different, but for my own personal preference, I wasn't gonna just be out here having sex, honestly, like that's the only way I can put it. Like I wasn't gonna be out here just and doing like, that with anyone, because you never know, people get really attached to people that they do that with. And
my biggest fear too was like AIDS was my biggest fear. Like
that should be your biggest fear.
I'm mad dramatic, so it's like a lot of times, like, you know, like I had my friends and all this other stuff. They did all this crazy things, and I always be like, and you weren't scared that you'll catch AIDS or STDs and stuff like that. And second, like my biggest fear was to get somebody pregnant that I wasn't gonna marry. Like that was my biggest fear, because I care about love, like pure love, the right way of loving somebody. So it's like me getting somebody pregnant, knowing that I do not love them. It would haunt me for the rest of my life because there's no way I'm not going to treat my child correctly. But at the same time, I have to see that person over and over and over and over again for the rest of my life. It's like I would just probably force myself to love that person only, you know? But that was like a deep fear of mine. And that's one of the reasons why I was celibate for that long. Even though I did get like all these crazy comments from like my friends and stuff like that.
They're not really your friends.
Yeah, they're... Yeah,
haters.
Back then, you know, when you're young, you think everybody's your friend, but that's not the truth. Even peer pressure was easy for me because I never grew up like, oh, you got to do what this person is doing. Our parents always came to us and spoke badly of other parents and how they raised their children. So we never got that like insecurity that's like, oh my God, like I got to do this because this child is doing this, you know? Not that our parents are really good people, but like, they'll come and be like, okay, you don't want to be like this child, you know, like that type of advice. So that made me very clear on my path and what I wanted to do. But as far as like, I focused on work, and that's why it was easier for me. You know?
For me, like I grew up. You know, when you grow up in New York, you see a lot of stuff, and then when you grow up in Brooklyn, you see more stuff.
Right.
And then when you grow up in the hood, not like the suburbs. I'm not a suburb girl. Okay, we grew up in regular rural areas. You see a whole bunch of things that's like unfiltered from when you're young. I remember being in middle school and like people just telling me, oh yeah, she lost her virginity, da da da, like okay. And I always knew from young, like this is not something you as a Muslim woman would do. This is not something your mom would be proud of, or like you that I would be proud of later on, you know? And like peer pressure, non-existent for me because I wasn't going to be doing what the people around me or my friends would be doing, because it's not. We're all on different like paths. We have different religions, different life goals. For them it's normal. For me it's not, because I didn't grow up seeing that as normal, you know? I always grew up seeing that as like taboo, something you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to have sex before marriage, and that's like that was in my head. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna have sex before marriage. I don't need no freaking I don't need it. Like people, two virgins get married together all the time, and they end up with 10,000 kids. Like it's just people have like these. They set their mind to like, oh yeah, you're not gonna have, you shouldn't get married young because you don't have experience, and like you shouldn't get married as a virgin because I need to. It's like so you gotta. Oh no, they gotta test drive the car before they bride.
Yeah,
like that is.
Yeah,
you're bugging.
That's a whole different type of mindset, because to me it's like you don't need to experience everything in the world.
Yeah.
For you to know it's good for you. But don't fall into that. You have to experience all this stuff because you're going to get hurt. Okay? Not everybody has the right intentions. Okay? I think if you want to get a successful life, maybe experiencing different jobs you can do.
No, don't do that either, because jobs are disrespectful.
You gain experience through different jobs. Activities, maybe riding a bike, playing sports. But I don't think you should experience with your personal part. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just...
experience with something that's so sacred. Like,
I don't think that's like, and if you do that, that's good for you. Everybody's different, but we're just stating our truth.
We're Muslim, right? Obviously. You're probably Muslim too. If you're not, then you probably have a religion. I know in every religion you're supposed to save yourself for marriage.
Yes.
There's a reason why you're supposed to save yourself for marriage.
Yeah, because guys are just assholes.
Not even that.
Jerks.
Girls could be assholes too. It's probably a guy watching this, and that's like, okay, he feels the pressure to, go experience before he gets married because he doesn't want to know, whatever. Maybe my brother's watching this and he's trying to figure out about stuff too. But it's like, there's a reason why we're not supposed to do certain things.
Right.
It's literally to protect you from physically, emotionally, because like I said, even when you're married to someone, you're vulnerable to them. They can hurt your feelings easily, let alone someone that you're not married to and that you're giving your all to. Like, I just never understood that concept of people like basically just giving all of them to someone that they're not married to,
and then when
that can get up and leave them anytime with no remorse. Like Mamoudou can get up and leave me anytime right now, even though we're married too, but it's different. I know that it was under God. So whatever you do to me, just know Allah is watching. But if you in a haram relationship and you giving him everything, you treat him like he's your husband, or you treating her like she's your wife, there's
no reason for them to want to marry you. Okay, good.
You're treating him or her like they're your wife or spouse or whatever under God. You're gonna get a wake up call. And trust me, I know this. I know this for a fact. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. I'm only 19, but I know what I'm talking about. Okay, like I know. Just don't give all of yourself to even someone you're married to. Like if you're married to a jerk, you don't need to give him all of you. Like no, all of me does not love all of you, because all of you does not love all of me. So just be careful. Like, I know you don't need to like just not have no relationship before you get married, but within boundaries. Like, don't set yourself up for failure. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So yeah. So basically what she's saying, that's like being at a job, right? And you're a supervisor and you want to become a manager. And then the store owner is giving you all these duties as a manager, and you're taking it and getting paid supervisor money. Why would they ever elevate you to become a manager if you're doing everything a manager is doing for low pay?
Boom.
Right? So if you're giving this girl, all these things,
everything,
like, you cooking, cheating, we have shared accounts, we have all...
Netflix and chill all day.
And it's like, there's no reason for them to marry you because you put everything out on the plate already.
Like, what is there?
And then that's why sometimes girls or guys are like, man, they left me and then now they're doing this with this other person, because that other person's like, yo, bro, well, I don't know what you think this is, but I ain't doing your laundry until you marry me. You know what I mean? I ain't coming up and cooking for you until I'm married. You know what I mean? Like, then it's kind of like, man, I got to work harder for this girl. You know, and then when you do that, you save yourself a marriage, and it's not just your private part, it's mentally. Mentally, you're like, okay, you're thinking about the same person, this person that hasn't even arrived yet, you know. Spiritually, you're praying for this person that hasn't arrived yet, you know. Physically, yes, you're saving yourself, you know, and all that stuff is important.
When you're like engaged, or you and someone are gonna get married, like y'all going through the whole process, that's another topic.
Yeah, that's still not marriage.
That's still not marriage.
So so for everybody that's engaged right now, that's still not marriage.
Shaitan is going to be whispered in your ear. Trust me. I know. Okay. Woman to woman, man to man, we know. It's going to get hard, okay? Especially if you delay the process. Trust me. Don't delay. If you delay the process,
it gets harder.
Don't delay nothing. It gets harder. Because if you guys are hanging out, it's like, oh,
and that's why your parents or people around you say, do it ASAP, get married.
Do it ASAP. You know? Do it the halal way. Don't see each other without supervision. But it's the 21st century.
Yeah,
ain't nobody got time for that.
I ain't trying to be like, hey, Jada, yeah, labade. And like right next to her parents. Like, come on, bro.
We're not trying to go to the movies with my mom supervising. Like, no.
Like, hey, take some popcorn. Yeah. And then your mom is right there like,
take some popcorn.
It's easy when you have the right mindset to save yourself a marriage, because for me, I just focus on work, focus on my activities. And that's why all that temptation was coming to me every single time. And I knew that for a fact, because I'm like, man, I'm not even looking for it. Why is it coming to me? You know? But it's hard.
It's shaitan.
It's hard because people are just pretty, man. Like, they're handsome, they're pretty, they're gorgeous. You walk outside and you just see all type of stuff. Okay?
You know, you wanted to say you walk outside and you just see ass.
You see butt, big butt, small butt, round butt, every type of... Astaghfirullah. I'm fasting. Astaghfirullah. But, okay, back to being serious. Okay.
Just to wrap it up.
Literally
wrap it up.
Literally wrap it up.
Literally wrap it up.
True. Stop. Okay, but listen. So it's a lot of temptations and stuff like that, but it makes you a better person, because when you go through all those temptations and you finally meet your match, whether it's the girl or the guy, you finally meet him or her, it makes you feel more willingness to keep it together. Because you worked so hard to get there, you're going to keep it together. But if it comes easy, anything that comes easy will fall apart. Simple as that.
Just some tips for like saving yourself for marriage, whether you're single or you're talking to someone already and you guys want to get married, like you're going through the process. There's going to be peer pressure, there's going to be shaitan, there's going to be temptations. As for peer pressure, don't look at what everyone else is doing as something that you should be doing, because just because something works for one person, it's not going to work for you. And as for like saving your virginity and saving yourself for your husband, that's something that we should all do because it's for our own benefit. But just because maybe your friend is out there not doing that, she living her whole life, you don't need to live a whole life with her.
A whole life?
Yes,
whole life.
Whole life. Not that you're a hoe if you're doing that, but I'm just saying that's just a quick word to refer to. Just because your friend is living her whole life don't mean you gotta go live your whole life too. Because like you can probably influence her to not save herself for marriage too, and even if she already went through that process, she can become celibate until she gets married or whatever. And as for temptations, you can control your temptations, because I feel like if you're talking to someone and you feel like, okay, the temptation between us is getting too hard, like whenever we're together, I just want to bite you and whatever, just stop hanging out with them for a little bit, and then just
get married, like just
keep the distance. And then once you feel like it's really like the temptation is really like unbearable and inevitable, there's nothing you can do about it, just get married.
Just talk to your parents and get married.
If you're I know we talked about peer pressure from like friends and like people around you, but if you're being peer pressured by the person that you're with to do those things, just throw them in the garbage. Because if they know that saving yourself for marriage is a value or something that you hold sacred, or if you're not saving yourself, you wouldn't be a born again virgin and you're trying to be celibate, if they know that is in your head and they're still trying to convince you to, oh, it's okay, we can just repent and we can just do this and we can just do that. No. Bye. Throw them in the garbage. Those are tips in our own stories about the untold truth of saving yourself for marriage.
So if you like this video, make sure you like,
comment,
subscribe, stay notified. Gang, 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 gang. We love you guys. We appreciate you for all your comments, your love, your support,
all of that.
And
we love you.
If you haven't already, make sure you go to our merchbydiallo.com page and get an item for yourself. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Snapchat. All right? We're going to see you in our next video. Peace.